Hi there everyone, and welcome back to another Let's Trek Together video. By request from a good friend named Lightwalker, we are doing our re-ranking of the 14 states of the Appalachian Trail.
So if you remember back to the videos before that we did, we went state by state and ranked them and talked about them, but in this video we're gonna go through all 14.
Also in our original video we ranked our states individually, but since we did the entire trail together, we thought that we would put our rankings together. The way we're gonna rank it is based on how many memories we had in each state, and we're gonna clip a lot of videos with it.
So without further ado, let's get started with the bottom of the list.
Number 14. And number 14 is going to be the state of
New York. So originally I had put this state pretty high on my list. I was really looking forward to it from our experiences of hiking in New York. I really love it, but it ended up being at the bottom now.
The only good memory that I have in the state is when we stayed at the drive-in in Warwick. Honestly, that's the only good memory that I have.
And the creamery, which was the same day. So the reason it is at the bottom is just because of all of the horrible things that happened to us while we were going through. Now they're kind of funny, but it still kind of puts it at the bottom. So we have me fainting from dehydration, Danny and Kyle getting stung by tons of hornets, and then the hurricane that came through, or the tropical storm, and kind of destroyed the trail.
New York was a mess when we went through.
Yeah. Moving on to number 13 is
the state of Maryland. Honestly, it is a really beautiful state. However, we were trying to get the entire state done in 24 hours, so we were just running through it, and it was in the middle of summer and it was just really hot.
We did experience some wonderful trail magic where we got fresh diner food, and the Washington Monument is there, which is really cool, and just all the history that's in that state, but it didn't really make a big enough impact to make it higher on our list.
The 12th state on our list is
West Virginia. So West Virginia was also a very short state and a part of that 4-state challenge. It was great because we had 4 flat miles to walk across to start off. Wonderful.
The actual National Historic Site of Harper's Ferry was so beautiful, and it was sitting right on the Potomac River. It was just a really beautiful sight to see, but again, it lasted all but an hour, so it really can't rank that high on our list.
One thing that I was really happy that we got to do was walk across the bridge, because earlier in that year the train had fallen off and destroyed the bridge while it was going over, and it was rebuilt by the time we got there, so that was really nice. Number 11 on our list is
Massachusetts. What a cool state. It wasn't the most beautiful state, but the memories there were so beautiful. And it is all thanks to Mr. Robert Byrd.
If you don't know, Rob Byrd is a very famous trail angel on the AT, and he allowed us to stay with him, and he slack-packed us the entirety of Massachusetts. And so Massachusetts is actually where Rob Byrd grew up, and he showed us around his hometown, and we went to all of his favorite restaurants.
It really felt like we were transported back to the 1970s with him. It was also towards the dog days of summer, and he brought us to a swimming hole, and it just really felt like we were just living like back in time, and it was amazing. We love you, Rob. Mwah. The 10th state on our list is
good old Rocksylvania.
Pennsylvania. I'm sure that a lot of people rank Pennsylvania at the bottom of their list. However, we honestly had a pretty good time going through the state. It was definitely dry, it was definitely hot, and there were a lot of sections that were boring. But overall, we got through the state and we enjoyed our time in it.
This was the beginning of some of the sections that Danny and I had already hiked before, so it was getting into territory that we knew, which was really cool and nostalgic to see again.
Some famous hikes like the Pinnacle and Lehigh Gap were just so stunning.
And along with Lehigh Gap, we got to spend time and get to know the trail angel Squeak, who's located in Palmerton, and just listening to her talk and give her advice was really awesome.
At Squeak's, that was also where we met the 3 non-blondes, who were the 3 girls that taught overseas, and they inspired us to now go overseas as well and teach in South Korea. So Pennsylvania has a really special place in our heart.
Pennsylvania also had the most beautiful and well-kept shelters on the AT, so that was a really nice treat.
Also, this is when we first got our experience of deli blazing, and it was amazing to be able to eat real food on trail. And last but not least, we really enjoyed our time in the Cumberland Valley. We were just going through some flat rolling hills of farmland, and it was just really pretty.
Number 9 on our list is going to be the state of...
the gateway to New England, Connecticut. So Connecticut is a smaller state that most people do within 2 or 3 days, and we hit it on a Thursday going right into the weekend, and thus we met a bunch of weekend backpackers, so it was really nice to have a community while we were hiking through Connecticut.
Connecticut has also just beautiful water sources. There's the Housatonic River, the 10 Mile River, and the Great Falls that we had our lunch at right before we actually met Rob Bird.
Great Falls was so unbelievably beautiful. The 8th state on our list is...
the motherland, New Jersey. It was so wonderful to get to share our home state with you guys. Going into all of this territory that we knew was so wonderful, just to know that you had walked all the way there.
When we hit the Delaware Water Gap, we knew we were home, and just the water gap in the summertime is so beautiful. Sunfish Pond, Raccoon Ridge, just all of it was gorgeous. We were completely taken back when we got to High Point. We didn't realize that that was in our state, and it was so beautiful. And places like Stairway to Heaven and the Walk Hill National Refuge, there's just so much to see in New Jersey in such a tiny little state.
And we can't forget about Jake the donkey at the secret shelter.
Amazing.
New Jersey was also just really easy to hike in, so we had gorgeous views and we didn't even have to work that hard to get them.
It was probably the easiest state to get through.
Yeah. We are now halfway through our list, and number 7 is going to be...
the state of Georgia.
So this is where it all started. This is where our journey began, and so there are always going to be so many fond memories from this state.
There weren't too many pretty views, especially since we started it in March, and it was pretty much just fogged in and rained in like 90% of the time. But like Molly said, this is where we first started. This is where we met everybody on trail in the beginning. It was just such a wonderful time, full of camaraderie and excitement.
This is actually where we met Kyle and Corey, so how could we not love this state? We met our tramily and our best friends for life here.
There were some awesome moments like Blood Mountain and Springer Mountain right in the beginning, and
Hiawassee, Georgia.
Hiawassee, Georgia.
Yeah, so Danny's birthday fell on a 0 in Hiawassee, and we got to go out to a brewery with all of these thru hikers and get to know people and celebrate, and it was just an awesome time.
So now we're starting to get to the top of our list, and number 6 is the state of
Virginia. This has to rank high, let alone because of the Grayson Highlands.
Yes, and on top of that, there are so many views in Virginia. It is such an enormous state, and there's so much. When we were going through what we loved about it, we didn't realize how many things there were. That includes the Blue Ridge Parkway, McAfee Knob and the Virginia Triple Crown, the Shenandoahs, the Priest, all of it.
Virginia is where we were hiking around our first bubble of thru hikers, so that was also really special to us because we finally had a group of people to hike around.
On top of that, we met a really good friend, Jester, and she interviewed us, and it was really awesome meeting her and Stephanie. They helped us out a lot in the center of Virginia, and we also rafted, and we completely failed at the end, but it was a lot of fun.
We also met a wonderful family in Shenandoah National Park that was actually also from New Jersey, and we got to camp with them and get to know them and hopefully inspire their kids to thru hike one day.
They caught the bug, they caught the bug, they caught the bug.
We also had the unique experience of getting to bike the Creeper Trail right outside Damascus, so that also was just such a fond memory. We are now into our top 5 states on the Appalachian Trail, and coming in at number 5 is...
Tennessee!
Powder!
Before starting the thru hike, I knew that the roans were going to be really pretty, but I didn't realize how much Tennessee was going to impact us on this thru hike.
So Tennessee was still when we were in that honeymoon phase of the thru hike, so many views impacted us, like Mount Camerare, Laurel Fork Falls, staying at Black Bear Resort, the Roan Mountains, and just the Smokies in general.
Our last day in the Smokies comprised of us staying in Mount Camerare, like actually in the fire tower itself, and it was so beautiful. We caught a beautiful sunset. We woke up the next morning and caught a beautiful sunrise. We met an awesome photographer who slept up there with us named Nazari, and he took some wonderful pictures of us. It was just a really, really awesome time.
And then the whole lead up to Damascus, that was when we did our first like 24-mile day, which was the biggest day we had ever done. And so we were exhausted and going loopy by the end of it. And then on top of that, the bear in the middle of the night nudging our tent.
But the actual hiking terrain was so beautiful that day. We were hiking through farm fields and cow fields, and it was just a really, really pretty time. We're coming up on number 4, and the 4th state on our list is
Vermont. This is where we got into Fire Tower land, and we had so many gorgeous views from the top of fire towers, just overlooking either the ski resorts or also just all of the pine trees and evergreens.
Glastonbury, Bromley, Stratton, Killington. It was just so beautiful. Ski slope after ski slope, just seeing it, oh my gosh, it was beautiful.
We also got to spend a 00 with our moms in Killington, Vermont, where they rented out an Airbnb. So we had a sauna and a giant jacuzzi and just like complete luxury.
We were very spoiled. This is also the state that we met long trailers, and we met them literally in the first mile or two on trail. It was them starting their northbound through hike, and it was so much fun passing on our experiences and memories to them, and them being really, really excited and in the honeymoon phase of their through hike.
Also, to most people, this might not impact them, but food is really important in the middle of a stretch on the AT. So we had the most amazing pie. Yeah, we've never tasted anything better than that. And it was in the middle of a rainstorm right on the trail.
It is what we needed to get through the next 10 miles that day.
Oh yeah. All right, we are down to our top 3, and coming in at number 3 is
North Carolina. This state had so many memories. It was when we first got back out on trail, so it has a lot of amazing memories there. We got back out on trail in the beginning of May, so spring was in full bloom. The state was gorgeous.
I will never forget that first day out on trail because we had rain, hail, and snow all on that day. It was just the AT welcoming us back.
Climbing in and out of the Knock, doing Fontana Dam, entering the Smokies in the first half of the Smokies. I remember those first 2 weeks back out on trail being so absolutely beautiful.
We also hit our first balds out on the trail, and these were Max Patch and Big Bald, which were just insane. I had never seen anything like that.
It was so beautiful. This was also the first hostel we stayed at on trail, which was Laughing Heart Hostel in Hot Springs, and this is when we first met our first Nobo friends, and it was really cool to meet a community of thru hikers. It was just a really good time in North Carolina. This is why it ranked number 3 on our list. All right, number 2 and the runner-up on our list is
New Hampshire.
I know that a lot of people rank this as number 1, and what you already probably know as our number 1 is usually number 2, but number 1 wins by far, but New Hampshire was just so gorgeous.
The White Mountains are absolutely iconic. There are so many beautiful views, and the range of the Presidential Traverse and Franconia Ridge, it's magnificent.
This is also where we met a lot of YouTubers and YouTube friends. We met the Happy Go Londons in Lyme. Taylor, the New Hampshire hiker, hiked up Mount Moosilauke with us. It was a lot of fun.
We also got to stay at 2 very famous hostels, being the Notch and Rattle River, which were total vortexes on the trail. We spent way too much time there, but it was a lot of fun because we got to meet, again, some of our friends that we hadn't seen in a while.
And also, at least in the White Mountains, we didn't pay for a single hut or tent site, so we hiked through the entire Whites for free. Yeah!
Woo! We also got to hike through the downtown of Hanover, which is where Dartmouth College is located, and we were there on move-in weekend, so there were people everywhere.
Very memorable. So, New Hampshire, you come in at number 2. And last but not least, drum roll please, we have the state of
Maine! Maine is just otherworldly. There's no place else like it on the East Coast. Just the views, and then on top of that, all of the emotions that were going through our head at this point. It was the finale of all of it, so it was really memorable for us.
When thru hikers say that this is the most beautiful state on trail, I didn't believe it just because I went to New Hampshire beforehand and I didn't think any other state could top it, but just the ruggedness of Maine just completely topped it in like 3 seconds.
Views like the Bigelows, the Saddlebacks, Goose Eye, Baldpate, and Katahdin itself, and the 100 Mile Wilderness were just all so gorgeous, and we hit it in peak fall.
It felt like every single stretch out of a town we were looking forward to a huge climb, and it was just worth every second.
Like I said, this was the finale of all of it, and so the camaraderie between all of the thru hikers towards the end was just awesome. We were all working towards this goal and been working towards it for so long, and we had gotten there. We had done it.
Oh, also, at least when it comes to views, don't forget Moose Luknigungtik Lake. That lake was so beautiful, and the town of Rangeley right on it was just stunning. It was otherworldly.
So that's it. That is our re-rank of the 14 states on the Appalachian Trail. Lightwalker, I know you've been looking forward to this, so I hope you enjoy it.
And for the rest of you, I hope you enjoyed all the clips involved with it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns on any of the states on the AT, if you're thinking about thru hiking and you want to shoot us a question on a specific state or just a thru hike in general, feel free to drop it down in the comments. Feel free to message us.
Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming content, that being hiking and Korean vlogs. And as always, guys, let's trek together.